If people are waiting for Deputy IG Lagat and CS Murkomen to resign, they are going to wait for a long time. These people have to be forced out of there. The pressure has to mount up to a certain degree for them to either step aside or to be actually removed from there. Somebody in higher authority, in higher power, have to probably go make the phone call, speak to them. But I can guarantee you, Lagat and CS Murkomen would never, ever, ever resign. The question is, why would they not step aside? Why would they not resign? Here's the answer. And this is 100%. You can take this to the bank. It is because of the kind of money that flows, the kind of resources that they have access to. Being a CS of Interior comes with money. Being a Deputy Inspector General of Police comes with huge monies. This is why Albert Ojwang was killed. Saseni wa Kenya, Safeguarding Officer Jeff. Today is a day that is, hata sijui niseme nini. Kenyans and people around East Africa and around the world so much bothered and worried about the death of a young man in police custody. Central Police, Nairobi CBD to be precise. The late Albert Ojwang, a man who was transported from Homa Bay, hundreds of miles, which is in Western Kenya, to Nairobi city for reasons that are contrary to the laws of somebody being arrested and all that. But what is worrying is that the Deputy Inspector General Lagat is still in office. Also, we have the IG, Kanja, who's been interviewed. He sat with the Senate, the body that oversees him within the Defense and the Interior. And then we have the CS of Interior, Murkomen. Now, these two people, Deputy IG Lagat and CS Murkomen, have been asked to step aside, to resign. But I do not understand what is it that Kenyans don't understand, or lawmakers, or leaders, because this is never going to happen. In other countries, especially in developed countries, there would not have been a need to request them to resign. They would have resigned themselves immediately. Soon as somebody is implicated into such a matter, they would have resigned themselves. People would not be waiting and demanding and crying and all that, saying, IG Lagat, resign, or he should be forced to resign. The government, the president should not be, or the IG should not be the one to be forced to tell them, force him to resign, tell him to resign, sack him. No, he would have resigned himself. Soon as you are implicated in such a matter, usually people who are, they are smart here, people who have what we call morals, people who have a heart, people who have the heart of the nation, people who listen to people, will step aside. They will say, because I've been implicated with this, I don't want to be here. I don't want to cause any more problem than there's already a problem. So I'm stepping aside so that investigation can be done. This is never going to happen in Kenya. It's not only Kenya. In Africa, it barely happens. We have seen, things are changing, and we have seen countries and people who really have come up and they actually would step aside. They don't even wait for a lot of pressure to be exerted on them. They will resign. But this is never going to happen with this guy, Lagat, and certainly not with CS Murkomen. Somebody who is supposed to be a lawyer, educated, but definitely has no clue about what he's doing as a CS for Interior. He has no clue. So, if people are waiting for Deputy IG Lagat and CS Murkomen to resign, they are going to wait for a long time. These people have to be forced out of there. The pressure has to mount up to a certain degree for them to either step aside or to be actually removed from there. Somebody in higher authority, in higher power, have to probably go make the phone call, speak to them. But I can guarantee you, Lagat and CS Murkomen would never, ever, ever resign. The question is, why would they not step aside? Why would they not resign? Here's the answer. And this is 100%. You can take this to the bank. It is because of the kind of money that flows, the kind of resources that they have access to. Being a CS of Interior comes with money. Being a Deputy Inspector General of Police comes with huge monies. This is why Albert Ojwang was killed. Because Albert Ojwang was trying to say things about how much money passes through the Deputy Inspector General every day, every month. Because millions, the money that comes from people who are arrested and they have to give a few thousands here and there, people who have been caught smoking weed, they've been caught drunk and disorderly, people who are caught with these petty crimes. It's not even, some of them are not even crimes, petty issues. And you are just arrested and you have to be arrested and you're put in a cell. Why? Because that is how police make a lot of money. Because when you end up in police custody, especially if you're arrested on Friday, they have a very good high rate of arresting people on Friday, because they know if you're arrested on Friday, you will spend the whole weekend in the cell. And therefore, a lot of people will give a few thousand here to be released just before the weekend. And that is, you can imagine when we have hundreds of thousands of young men, women and men being arrested, how much money is coming through. This is what Albert Ojwang was trying to say. And that's why he had to be eliminated. So we have seen not long when CS Murkomen was, arraigned in public social media platforms with opulence, belts, watch, shoes, saying how much, they cost and how hundreds of thousands his watch and all these things are. So you are not going to then expect these guys to just resign. They know soon as they resign, all this money, all this power is taken away. So the only way for these people to be out of the place is forced. Sadly, they have to be forced out, or somebody, and forced out, I mean literally being forced out, get out, or a lot of pressure to be exerted on them and their seniors, so that they can then make phone calls. CS Murkomen, out, get out, resign now, or I'll be forced to sack you. Deputy Inspector General of Police, Lagat, resign now, or I'll have to do it for you. This is what needs to happen. Either that and they resign because they've been told to, or they are sacked. But if you're going to wait for Lagat and CS Murkomen willingly to resign, that's never going to happen. The kind of money they get every day, the kind of privilege they have, the kind of influence they get is too much for them to think they can do the right thing. They don't care about nobody. They don't care about who is saying what. They don't care about Albert Ojwang's family who has died. That's nothing to do with them. All they care is about themselves. how much they are going to eat, to steal. That's all they care about. So Kenyans, please learn this and learn it very quickly. That people like this would never resign. People like this would have to be forced or made to resign or removed from office by power. That's the only option. That's the only way. Otherwise, it will never happen. It's so sad that this has gotten to this, and that there were lies, and that IG had to come and apologize on behalf of National Police Service that Albert Ojwang did not commit suicide. What a shame. Why? His body being moved. You know, there's stories about Karula. He was being tortured in Karula Forest. But the initial question, why transport this young man thousands of miles? Why? Anyway, my prayer is that somebody somewhere is going to force, because it has to be force CS Murkomen and Deputy IG Lagat out of office. We need them out, at least to get the country going. Please pray for the family of Albert Ojwang, the father, the mother. It's hard. The wife, the child. The students. He was a teacher, a secondary school teacher. Pray for his students. It's a sad things. Safeguarding is everything. We must safeguard each other. We must safeguard our children, our families. So please, safeguard somebody out there. Shalom, I'll see you soon in my next video.